Hello and welcome back, everyone, to the Pure Degeneracy podcast here on YouTube. My name is Adam Glick. I'm joined with Ethan Weingart. As always, Glick's Picks, Wine, Locks are ready on this Thursday afternoon. The calendar is flipped. We're now in November. Ethan, how are we doing?
Man, this week has gone by so slow, I feel like. Sorry, there's a mosquito out here, but now that the weather's getting colder down here in Texas, I'm outside, beautiful, 65 degrees, no complaints, with chilling with the squad, Sophie, and maybe as we talked about, maybe she can lend a hand on a few picks. How are you doing?
Doing well, doing well. Getting ready for another weekend of sports, and then also have to plug our basketball show that starts next Monday, NBA and college hoops. Can't wait for that.
It's where the real fun begins, man.
Yeah, exactly. And I know you're excited about that Spurs win the other night. Incredible game.
I'm a fake fan. I watched 3 quarters, went to bed after the third quarter, woke up to a text. I was like, WTF Spurs ? And I was like, what? And they won by 1.
Yeah. Rematch tonight. We'll get into all that and some college hoops next week. So make sure to check that out here.
Awesome.
Yeah, on the YouTube channel. Before we get started, hit that like and subscribe button. Helps us out greatly, and we appreciate it. So with that, let's get into the slate. And Ethan, we're going to start with college football as we always do. And, it's an early game, as you know. We're starting with Texas, Kansas State, as I will share my screen here.
I don't want to talk about
it. It's going to be a close game. Spread right now of 4. And over under a 49.5. Kansas State comes in red hot, killing a lot of teams in the Big 12, still right in that Big 12 title race, both teams with 1 loss respectively. It's a big game for both sides. Still no Quinn Ewers, the quarterback position. Thoughts going in this game. A lot of our friends who are big Texas fans, Ethan, are very scared that they're going to lose outright here.
Yeah. That seems like the general vibe. I don't even sense like, OU, at least we kind of had like a cautious optimism.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even feeling anything remotely near that with this game. So you touched on it. We have a lot of friends who are definitely way more plugged into UT football than I am. Like I like to call myself like a passionate fan, but I'm not nearly as involved as some of our other friends are. So I think that makes me like, I'm still optimistic, but UT just has not, even though we had a comfortable win last week. I think that the biggest thing is the red zone offense. I mean, we versus OU last week as well, we get ourselves into these situations where we're on the 1 yard line, 2 yard line, and we can't capitalize, and that's really not good. So when you take that into account with our backup quarterback Malik, who I have always been a fan of, and I think he did what he needed to do last week. I really don't know about how I feel about this game at all. I'd like Texas to win, but I can't. I don't think maybe we'll bet on some props, but yeah, I'm scared.
Yeah, and I would be scared too. Obviously, you bring a very experienced Kansas State squad in, playing good football at the right time. Will Howard has been there, it seems like, forever. Giddens, their running back, has had a really good last few weeks. He had 2 touchdowns, almost 100 yards last week against Houston. And, you don't like to compare how teams do against other common opponents, but if you want to, Texas had to struggle and survive against Houston, and Kansas State won last week 41-0 against them. So
that's really not good.
Yeah, both teams kind of trending in a little different directions in this game. It is in Austin, which does give Texas a better chance of winning. If this game was in Manhattan, Kansas, I would have full confidence Kansas State wins this game, no problem. But I do think Texas can win because it's in Austin. The key is going to be the run game. Jonathan Brooks is going to have to get going, and he's going to have a big workload on Saturday because I'm not super sold on Malik. I watched some of the game against BYU. His mechanics, personally, I don't think are great. He likes to throw off his back foot a lot, which is not good. He forces the envelope, I think, a little too much. You saw a little bit on Saturday against BYU, but he does have potential. Don't get me wrong. I just think Kansas State right now is playing better football and they're a better team. But I can't bet against Texas in the spot. This line's too close because I need and I want Texas to win, obviously. So I'm going to stay away from the total here. Instead, I will do one prop, and that one prop is, or actually, we'll do two props. We're going to do DJ Giddens anytime touchdown, and we're going to do Jonathan Brooks anytime touchdown. So I trust the running backs to have good games in this spot early in the morning. I'm going to be drinking my coffee 9 a.m. here on the West Coast. Can't wait for this game. Big noon kickoff, I think, will be there. The Fox squad and everything. So big game for both these teams. But Ethan, you're staying away, rightfully
Yeah,
so.
I was thinking about it. We had a rough week with Texas 2 weeks ago, and then
Yeah.
last week on the pod we only had two Texas bets, but they both cashed, and 2 for 2, that's 100% right there. I think that I think I'm gonna stay away this time. I don't feel confident about anything. I like the Brooks touchdown bet, I do, because he's great, but you said it, we're gonna have to lean on the run game a lot. Kansas State probably knows that. We'll see what happens, but yeah, I think I'm gonna stay away.
Yeah. If I were a non-partisan fan in this game, I would definitely tell you probably bet Kansas State. But never know. We'll see what happens there. Let's go to another big game on the college football slate. Much better slate this week, I think, than the last week. We go to Missouri in Georgia. Big line, but basically the SEC East title hopes in the balance here. Missouri somehow, some way, having a year to remember, ranked number 12 in the country, 7-1 overall, but they come in to a really good Georgia team who maybe has hit their stride finally. I was wrong last week. They absolutely thrashed Florida. I also did not do my due diligence. I forgot that the biggest cocktail
Weather?
party of the year with Georgia and Florida is not in the swamp. It's in Jacksonville.
Oh,
So a little bit of a more of a neutral site game. Um, so that did not help the bet, obviously, but Florida still almost somehow covered at the end. Doesn't matter. Lost. Both of these teams, high powered offenses at times, especially Missouri. Georgia is getting 15 points. They're definitely the better team. They should win this game. Any leans that you have betting wise going to Georgia, Missouri?
So I am gonna say that. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. But what I was gonna say was, I haven't, to my knowledge, except for Texas, done any touchdown parlays on any touchdown scores with teams that are not Texas.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that I'm gonna switch it up for this one, and I'm gonna take the Georgia running back Edwards for an anytime touchdown right now. Official parlay. I keep saying official parlay. Official play. We're doing Edwards, the Georgia running back, anytime touchdown. He already has 8 of them,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's a lot. So I think that's the play that I'm going to do right now.
Okay. I like it a lot. Let's see here. How do I want to play this? I'm going to do the one official play. I'm not going to touch the 15 spread line. I'm going to do the over 56.5. You saw 63 points, I believe, in the Georgia-Florida game. Florida, similar, I think, defense and offensive style to Missouri. They like to run and gun a little bit. Georgia's the better team, and they could get into their pace of play, but I think Georgia's offense is really just clicking all cylinders back. You heard a lot of talk about him without Bowers, how he's going to do, and he showed up. He threw for over 300 yards last week against Florida. I think he's hitting his stride right now, and against Missouri's defense, who I don't think they have a quality defense, I think they're going to have no problem. So give me over 56.5 as my only official play in this game. And I would definitely stay away from the line because Georgia's a weird team. 1 week they could blow any team out by like 40 points, but sometimes they can keep it close to lesser competition. So
most definitely.
Okay, with that, we move on to another game. And I think it also at the 3:30 Eastern window, we have the last ever rivalry game between Oklahoma and Oklahoma State. Here we go. It's Bedlam one last time. It is in Oklahoma State. And, similar to kind of Texas and Kansas State, where Texas maybe not playing the best and Kansas State's red hot. Well, Oklahoma's coming off a huge upset loss to Kansas last week, which was phenomenal as a Texas fan. And Oklahoma State is coming in red hot. Beginning of the year, Oklahoma State gets thrashed to South Alabama, who's turned out to not be a good team this year. And everything, the sky's falling, and Gundy's job may be on the line, but all of a sudden they're right back into the thick of things in the Big 12 race. There's 6 teams tied with one loss right now, and they have an opportunity against their rivals one last time before they move off to the SEC. Oklahoma State. Ethan, talk to me.
I think we're gonna pivot, and I don't think that we're gonna take any props for this game, but I like just Oklahoma money line.
Okay.
They're favored at -6 on Yahoo Sports, which seems kind of to back up what you're saying. Like, OU's coming off a rough loss versus Kansas, which, they needed to win. They did not. Oklahoma State is really kind of having like a mid-season to second half resurgence. Did I just get a mosquito? We got the mosquito.
Nice.
And I think off of that right there, got the mosquito. We're taking Oklahoma too. So we're going to do with this one, Oklahoma money line as an official play for me. What about you?
Okay. This game, so Gabriel's really struggled most of the game, and the weather conditions weren't great up in Lawrence last week. I think Gabriel's going to have a bounce back game, similar to how you think Oklahoma's going to win just straight up. I think if that's going to happen, which I do think Oklahoma wins this game, but I think Gabriel's going to have a good game. Over 250 and a half passing yards for Dylan Gabriel. I think he's going to have no problem against this Oklahoma State secondary, and they've given up a lot of points throughout the year. I know it's the rivalry game, but every time these two teams get together, it feels like there's a lot of fireworks, a lot of points. So I'm going to favor a quarterback and an experienced one in that Gabriel will have a good game for his Sooners. I do lean the over in this game. It's very tempting, but the line has gone down a few points, which is steering me away. But I would lean over, but won't be an official play for Oklahoma State. But as Texas fans, Ethan, nothing would make me happier to see Oklahoma lose again, back-to-back weeks.
That would be great, but I'm also going to talk about what you said about Dylan Gabriel. Like it or not, he's a great quarterback, and he has a really good story too. So I don't anticipate OU losing, but it would be nice. No complaints if they do. No complaints if they do.
And let's move on to now our night slate. We have 2 very, very intriguing and worthwhile games on the college football night slate. We have first, we'll start out west, Pac-12, USC in Washington. Very interesting game. Line is only 3 in favor of Washington. I think that's part of the fact that Washington, they beat Oregon in an incredible game last second, and everyone's so high on Washington, as they should. For the last 2 weeks, they've played really bad schools in their conference, respectively, in Stanford and Arizona State, and it's been a real struggle to get past both of them. USC won a college football video game last week against Cal. They won 50-49. They play the worst defense I've ever seen. But they're explosive and they're fun to watch, honestly.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. So look at this over, Ethan. 76.5 is the over.
That's on Yahoo Sports too. It's crazy.
What do you think? USC or Washington in this game?
See, you're laughing as you're asking that. I like how am I supposed to even answer this? Like every time that we talked about, we took a break from USC, I believe, last week, which was good. But I understand why we have to talk about them this week because it's the truth. I would love for Washington to lose so that UT could get ever so close to getting back in the playoff. But I think that it's really going to come down to the defense that is non-existent. You know what I mean? I don't think that I'm going to make an official play on like on the teams on how they do. It would be sick if USC won because they haven't really looked the part on defense. I mean, they only have 2 losses, but now they're all the way up to 20. What is Caleb's over touchdown throw? Can we see that?
2.5.
I'm gonna take that. as an official play, I'm going to do over 2.5 touchdowns for Caleb Williams. He's going to have to sling it. And the over 76.5. So based on that alone, you would think that Caleb would light it up. The last thing that I would want is for there to be 10 points scored from each team, but I don't really think that's going to happen. I like that play a lot. So official play for Washington USC for me is going to be Caleb over 2.5 touchdowns. What about
I
you?
like it. I like it a lot. And this game, Ethan, this is really hard for me to pick. USC is such a difficult team to read week in and week out. I don't think, that defense, you can't win a championship with that defense. That's why they're not in the college football playoff discussion. But when you have a talent like Caleb Williams leading your offense, you're in every single game. Doesn't matter who you play.
Right.
Washington, the way they've played the last week really wants me to bet USC, but you know what? I'm going to, as the Pure Degeneracy show goes here, I'm going to close my eyes and bet this game and just hope it hits. We're taking Washington -3 as an official play, and we're also going to take, this is going to sound crazy. We're going to take the under 76.5.
Oh, yes.
Listen, I would love to take that over, but I cannot fathom rooting for an over in a college football game where I need 77 points to win. And I know that could happen in literally the first half with these two teams. But
it's a lot of points.
Merits alone, I'm taking the under in this spot. 76.
Think about like the most simple way to score that. That's like 40-30. You know what I mean? Even that is such a huge score.
Yeah.
That's a lot of points. So
I know both these teams have been basically getting there the last few weeks, but I just think that one of these defenses, I'm not sure which one, will get at least enough stops to get under this number. And I think Washington is the better team overall. And listen, as good as Caleb is, Michael Penix is a Heisman candidate as well. And
sure.
So he can easily lead this team on the road. And USC, for what they are, they're not a great home environment. Nothing compared to what we know at Texas. So.
Yeah. Good points.
So those are my two official plays.
Good points. I like it a lot.
Okay. Anything else from this game, or do you want me to move on to the?
No, I like our picks though. I like
do.
our picks a lot.
Let's hopefully see them cash. This is the night slate, so Washington and USC is at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 my time, 6:30 Ethan's time, and then half an hour later start at 5 o'clock Pacific, 7 Central. We have the best game, I think, of the entire night. And there we go. It says 4:45 on here, but it's actually at 5. Alabama and LSU. And this will be under the lights. And in Alabama, it would be an incredible environment. These teams are heated rivals. This is LSU's last chance to have a chance to get into the SEC championship game. So LSU and Missouri, respectively, both of them, playing the big dogs. If you beat them, you have a chance to dethrone them and get to an SEC championship. This line's very small because LSU can sling the hell out of the football. -3, Bama is favored over under 61.5. Under the lights in Alabama, who are you taking?
My first thought is LSU, to be honest. But come back to me in like 2 minutes, and we'll see if I'm going to make an official play on that or not.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, Jalen Daniels is very good. I would say he could be another Heisman candidate, right? I mean, why not? He's incredible. 25 touchdowns already. Still have a lot of games left to be played. You know what? You talked about it for the last game. It's the Pure Degeneracy podcast for a reason. I'm going to take – this is a big one. I'm going to take LSU official play money line to upset Alabama.
Let's go. Love it. Hopefully that hits. I'm rooting for you. Okay. I have an official play. I love this spot for both these teams. I like the over 61.5. I know I just took a big under, but I think LSU's defense is awful. Just absolutely dreadful. I've seen them countless times this year in big games. I remember the Ole Miss game where that was a track meet. I think Alabama's going to have no problem scoring, and I think LSU's offense and Daniels, as you talked about, can easily get down the field against Alabama's defense. I know it's very talented, but I do think the points will be scored on both sides of the ball. 61.5 is a respectable over-under. It's not 76.5. So give me over 61.5. And also, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take a prop, and I'm going to take Mr. Milroe, Jalen Milroe, over 1.5 passing touchdowns. I think he's going to get himself a huge game against LSU. I would love to see LSU win this game outright. I think it's going to come down to the end like we've seen in years past. But he's going to have no problem scoring against LSU's secondary.
So. Yeah, I'm gonna ride right there with you on the over 1.5 touchdown. That's a beautiful bet. What is the Daniels over touchdowns looking like?
2.5, but good odds for if you want the over. Really good odds.
I'll do it. We're taking all the quarterback over touchdowns today. So we're doing Milroe over 1.5 and Daniels over 2.5.
Love it. Good ROI out in the elements right now where you are, Ethan. So see if that can hit. Okay. Big game. Late night sweats. Nothing better than that in college football. And with that, before we get into the NFL, pull it up though. Ethan. Oh, you know what we did? We didn't do this time actually.
What?
I mean, I don't know if it even deserves it. We didn't do Thursday night football for the NFL, and that's my fault.
Oh no. Well, what are we looking at here? Oh no, it's a game that I'm actually excited for, but more for fantasy purposes, not necessarily for betting.
Okay, so we'll get into that in a second.
Okay.
My bad for not starting with that.
All good.
Anyway, yeah. What is your degeneracy moment of the week? If you have.
Yeah, love it. So, as you know, we're gonna go back to Texas Hold'em. I'm a big Texas Hold'em guy, one of my passions. I have been taking a break from playing because just trying to figure out, my career path, and that's kind of a big mental block right now. But now that I have that, kind of figured out, which is nice. Been working out a lot, which is good. Feel like I'm in a good headspace to start playing again. Not necessarily as much as I used to, but played on Friday, I believe, and did pretty well. And then me and Tom are gonna play again. So tonight. So fingers crossed on the Texas Hold'em front of the degeneracy of my life. We'll see what happens.
Love it.
Feeling good.
Good luck.
What about you?
Good.
Thank you.
Yeah. So as you guys know, I bet on everything and everything. I came up with a term this week that I think describes my betting, and I'll tell you why that is with this number, and you'll be like, oh wow. Okay, so I think I am basically the Costco of sports betting. I buy in bulk. I buy a lot at a time.
Buy in bulk. That's fantastic.
Yeah. I just go. Listen, I'm looking for deals. I'm looking for prices, but I go, and I don't stop. And if it's there, I'm betting it. And that's what you do with Costco. Yeah, exactly. So my bet slip last week. Right now on 3 respectable books. I diversify my portfolio, obviously, as any good sports bettor does. I placed 329 bets last week. That number,
God,
yeah, that number probably will go up next week with college basketball returning. I mean, there's 181 games literally on Monday to start the season. So, oh no. Back against the wall. Anyway, yes. If you guys come to me, you're like, oh my God, it's Glick's Picks, it's Adam Glick. Well, you can call me the Costco of sports betting. I would love that term, and I think that represents my sports betting a lot. Listen, I'm not going to bet huge unit sizes on a bet, but I'm going to bet small, and I'm going to bet large in terms of quantity.
Right. That's beautiful. That's incredible.
Yeah. Hopefully that was well said enough to understand.
You're Costco. That's my new nickname for you.
Okay. Sounds good. And with that, I know we did not do it at start, and that is my fault. Let's talk about Thursday night's game. It's not the most, from the casual viewer perspective, not the most compelling game, but both these teams kind of in need to win mode with the Steelers and the Titans respectively. The line at 3 in favor of the Steelers. Also, there's some injury concerns, I think Will Levis is starting for the Titans again.
Yes.
And is Trubisky starting this game, or is Pickett back?
I can tell you right now.
Because I know that he got hurt last week for the Steelers. Both these teams kind of need to win. Steelers 4-3, Titans 3-4.
Sorry to interrupt. He is set to face the Titans. He was a full participant on Wednesday and does not have an injury designation at all for Thursday. So
Cool.
should be picked in there.
Tell me about it, Ethan. What are you thinking in this game?
Well, in terms of betting, I'm not thinking anything, but if we can, divert from the path a little bit, I'm so just bamboozled about fantasy football because I have to start. Kirk Cousins tore his ACL,
Yeah.
picked up Will Levis, start immediately plug in and play. I am so torn on DeAndre Hopkins. It's tough because my choices are Nico Collins, the current Texans wide receiver 1, or DeAndre Hopkins, the former elite Texans wide receiver 1. He had such a good week last week with Will Levis, and I'm hoping that they can replicate that this week against the Steelers, who have been porous. So I have Hopkins in there over Collins, even though they both play pretty weak secondaries. Gotta trust my all-time OG GOAT from Houston, who I miss dearly. I'm thinking that the Titans can get a win over the Steelers here, but I don't think I'm gonna bet on it. What do you think?
Yeah, so I'm gonna go with props last week. One of the props that I hit was Deontay Johnson receiving yards.
Yep.
And I'm gonna go back to it. I think it's been really the Pickens show, but now that Johnson's back in the mix, I think he's getting a lot more targets, and he's a really good receiver in his own right. I am gonna go his over again. I know it's gone up a little bit since it hit last week. I'm going to go over 58.5 receiving yards for Deontay Johnson. I'm also going to target him to dance
58.5?
58.5. Yeah.
Got it. Yeah, 58.5.
Yeah.
Cool.
And I'm also going to target him to dance his way into the end zone. Plus 185. So great ROI there. I think he will find his way in the end zone. I don't like a side. I don't like a total in this game. These are two definition of mid team, so I'm not going to get into those.
Okay, if you're riding with an anytime touchdown in this game, so will I. Hopkins had 3 in one game last week.
Yeah.
But I don't care. I really don't. I think that this could be a spot where he may come crashing back to earth, but I would still, I'd love for him to get in the end. If he can get in the end zone, regardless of what happens with Nico Collins, I guess I can feel okay about it if he scores, because that's at least something. So I'll ride with you. I'll take a guy from the other team. We'll do a official play, Hopkins anytime touchdown.
Love it. Okay. So we got 2 scores for both teams. Hopefully both of them find their way into the end zone. Start our Thursday on the winning side.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else before I move on?
No, not too in love with Henry or Harris. Definitely not Harris. I would like, I think that the Titans can win this game. I'd like for them to lose just because of, them being in the same division as Houston. But yeah, I think we're going to stay away from any money lines or things like that.
Okay. Sounds good to me. Okay. With that, we move on and we hop on a plane and take our talents and our wisdom to Germany. We have the Chiefs and the Dolphins at my time. Oh my God, am I waking up for this? I don't know. 6:30 a.m. my time, 8:30 a.m. your time.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's criminal that this game is played that early because it's a great game. Chiefs, Dolphins, spread -2 in favor of the Chiefs, coming off a huge upset loss to the Broncos last week. Dolphins going to try to win this week with them. Did they play? Were they on a bye last week or did they play?
They
felt like they were on a bye.
I think they played. I think they won last week.
Oh no, they played last week.
They beat the Patriots 31-17.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
When you play the Patriots nowadays, it's like, did you really play? So
it's like the Spurs, same trajectory, sort of.
Exactly. So This is a tough game. It's in Germany.
Yeah.
Who knows how travel's going to affect these
Yeah.
two teams.
Yeah.
Spread 2. Is it a Chiefs bounce back, or you think the Dolphins are just a better team?
I think that the Dolphins have a lot more talent.
Mm-hmm.
Jalen Ramsey's back, which is huge. But the thing is, with Kelsey's the big receivers. You know what I mean? So Ramsey will probably shut down whoever he has to guard, but it's not going to be Kelsey.
Mm-hmm.
Making me think that if I were to bet anything here, I would maybe want to. Do we have an over on Kelsey's receiving yards?
Well, let's see. Goes here. 78.5.
That's a lot. I was saying that Chase had a big over last week, but he hit it.
And Amon-Ra, too. He hit his over.
Yeah. So how about this? What if we do a I think the Dolphins are going to win this game, but I'm not confident on betting the money line here. But what I will do is a Kelsey anytime touchdown official play.
Okay. I'm going to piggyback that right away. I like it a lot. You can
You're
count.
right in with me there?
Yeah, you can count me in. I have a one-way ticket with the same train that you're on. So.
Let's ride, baby. I mean, like, it's a logical bet. Sometimes logical bets don't hit. But if you got to think about it, the Chiefs receivers are so inconsistent. The only one that is consistent really is Kelsey. And Ramsey won't be on him, probably. Ramsey will, I mean, he could be, but it's more of a linebacker situation. So yeah, I like that bet.
Okay. And the one other prop that I will do in this game, I'm going to go with Jalen Waddle over 67.5 receiving yards. I think he has been, I know how good Tyreek Hill's been. He's still getting his respectable numbers, but you could really see Waddle's workload start to pick up the last several weeks. I think he's going to have another big spot against the Chiefs. And even the Broncos last week were able to move the ball in the Chiefs defense. So I like Waddle to have a good game in Germany. So give me over 67.5.
Good bet. Great bet. I like it.
Okay. I'm not going to go any sides or totals in this game. I think it's a toss-up game.
It is a toss-up game for sure.
Okay, so we fly back after we're, sweating one out in Germany. We'll fly back to the States and sweat one out for the main slate of football. Let's do the Seahawks and the Ravens. This is quietly a huge game on the NFL slate this week. Both teams were sitting at just 2 losses overall. Ravens -6. Seahawks had to work and fight and survive last week against the Browns at home, but they did it. Well, Ravens have been playing some good football ever since they lost that crazy game to the Steelers a few weeks ago. Over under 44. Ravens or Seahawks in this one?
I'm gonna stay away from this game completely. I don't like. I love my DK Metcalf anytime touchdown, but I think Sophie. I think I'm gonna say Sophie does not agree with that.
No, Sophie wants to bet this game.
I think that I'm gonna. I sorry to my dog. I think that I'm gonna stay away from it because I just never like the Ravens. You said it. They have a great record this year. They're doing good. I just never know what to do with them. You know what I mean? Like I never know how they're gonna play because just anything could happen. So I think I'm gonna stay away from everything. But what do you have to say?
Yeah, I don't mind that honestly. I'm gonna do my only official play, Mark Andrews anytime touchdown. I think he is kind of Lamar's target of choice. Lamar hasn't put up great numbers, to be honest, the last few weeks. He didn't even put up good numbers against the Cardinals last week, and because I have him on fantasy, that's probably why. I think that if he's going to throw a touchdown pass, which I think he throws at least one against the Seahawks, who don't have a great defense, I think it's going to be to Mark Andrews. You got to think that Andrews has a big game. Ravens are -6 for a reason, so if they're going to cover that, he's going to score. So give me him
Yeah,
and good
no, listen,
ROI.
that's a really good bet. And I took Mark Andrews a couple weeks ago for my anytime touchdown, and he ended up getting maybe 3. Definitely got 2.
Yeah.
So it's never a bad bet to bet his anytime touchdown. I like it. I'm gonna stay away though, but I like it. I'm
Yeah.
confident in that.
One thing I love doing, and you obviously could already tell from doing the show with me, I love in NFL betting tight ends anytime
Yeah.
touchdown. I feel like tight ends are
When you
always the
think
way
about
to
it,
go.
there's not that many to choose from, which makes it easier. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like
exactly.
Andrews, Kelsey, Waller, who's hurt, but Waller, like Kittle. I mean, not Kittle, yes, and Pitts. Those are it. That's like 6 tight ends out of 32. So,
Exactly. I
yeah.
agree. Out of respect to you, even though they costed me some coin last week, we'll do quickly here, touch on your game. Texans and Bucks. Texans losing at the last second to a winless Carolina Panthers team. Now they're 2.5 point favorites against a really bad Baker Mayfield Bucks team.
Yeah.
Ethan, I know I've been very, very high in the Texans myself, but last week definitely a disappointing game. Can they bounce back this week?
Yeah, so I appreciate you for thinking of me and wanting to touch on this game. I don't want to touch on this game at all.
Okay.
For our podcast last week, I missed all of my Texans bets. I think a lot of people missed on their Texans bets as well.
Yeah.
Obviously, losing to the only defeated team in the NFL is tough, and the Texans have been nothing short of inconsistent this year. So it's just, I've been so, I said it on an earlier podcast, I've been just so wrong on pretty much every Texans pick this year. So I think that I have to, I'm obviously going to ride with my guys. I'm hoping that they can, beat the Bucks. They have to figure out their offense, though. The offense has been nothing short of putrid. Our offensive play caller, I harped on him, Bobby Slowick, the first couple weeks of the season. He looks really, really good, but his calling has kind of faltered off a little bit. We have 2 uh, tough losses by game-winning field goals out of our last 3 games. 2 of those have been on game-winning field goals to teams that we, obviously could have beaten. But the offense just was not there. Always love the Texans defense, though. I'll never have anything bad to say about them, no matter how bad they play. They're just a really good young group of guys who love to hit hard. They can make some plays, but it's just the offense. That's how it's been the past couple of years. Honestly, it's just inconsistencies on the offense. So I think I'm going to stay away from it. I had a lot of picks last week. Now I'm not feeling confident. What are your thoughts? Do you have any?
Yeah, as you were talking about that, and I thought you touched on some nice points there. Because of what you said, even
Mm-hmm.
only play I'm going to have in this game, I'm going to take the under 40. Texans and Bucks under 40. Texans very inconsistent as you talked about, but very good, inspiring, energetic defense that they have. But this Bucks offense, I mean, I've watched them a few times this year. They're horrible. I can't with Baker Mayfield. There's no confidence in me either. If I'm going to bet the Bucks, never going to bet the Bucks. So I like an under in this game. Under
That's a
40, I
nice
think is a good play.
That's
Yeah.
a good bet. I mean, the Texans have had to rely on their defense a lot to keep them in games. We have a lot of guys that could get sacks. Like we versus the Panthers, we had 5 or 6 sacks. We're waiting on Stingley's return, but I've been really happy with how our defense has been playing. I never thought that was going to be an issue. It is the offense. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But obviously, I'm hoping for a Texans win. I don't want to make any official plays though. So, but that's a good bet from you. I like
Yeah.
it.
No, it makes sense. And in games where I think there's going to be not a lot of points, I definitely don't want to take props because I like taking
Yeah,
over props, obviously. So
yeah,
staying away there, and I don't know those two teams too inconsistent for me to take a side. So with that, we go into the best game in the later slate, and then we'll do the 2 primetime games as we always do. Cowboys and Eagles,
Oof.
old-fashioned classic rivalry. It is in Philadelphia. That's why they're 3-point favorites. Otherwise, it'd be a pick 'em. Over under 47. This is a big time game. Everyone's going to be watching. It's America's game of the week, as
Yeah,
it rightfully should be.
yeah.
What are your thoughts, Eagles and Cowboys?
I'm gonna make 2 plays here. I think the Eagles are a better team. And I really don't have any bias against the Cowboys. I've never it's not that I hate the Cowboys. I really don't. I just think the Eagles are a better team. So I think I'm going to take Eagles money line here. And I'm also going to go back to one of my, for you, I feel like it's Amon-Ra St. Brown. For me, one of my old reliable anytime touchdown scorers, A.J. Brown. He
And
has
he's been getting it done. Yeah.
Absolute tear. And very happy I have him in fantasy. So I'm going to do, I'm taking it, even though he's been scoring a lot. I don't care though. I think he can. No Trayvon Diggs. Obviously, Cowboys defense is so very good, but I think AJ Brown just cannot be stopped. So I'm taking him to anytime touchdown.
I like it. And I'm going to piggyback off you. I'm going to take the -3 for the Eagles in this spot. I think they're a better team than the Cowboys overall from what I've been seeing so far. They're at home. Going to be a great environment. I think Eagles win this game. I think they cover the spread. And then I'm going to also do an anytime touchdown prop because why not? Let's get a little tush push. Jalen Hurts anytime touchdown, which means that if he throws a passing touchdown, it won't count. So he needs to run it. Give me a tush push. Eagles win. They cover. We hit all our bets. Let's, get this one done. Philly, since the Phillies couldn't win the World Series, Eagles, you're next. You're on the chopping block now. So we will do that. Yeah, we will do that in that game. I do have CeeDee Lamb on my fantasy team. I benched him last week, of course, because why wouldn't I? Not worst fantasy owner maybe ever. I'll start him this week. That means you should bet his unders, just so if you're watching this at home. Let's go to the primetime games here. Buffalo. This is a really good primetime game. Buffalo Bills and the Cincinnati Bengals. Let's see. We got a 2-point spread favor for the Bengals over under 49.5. The Bengals last week. They beat the Niners last week in San Francisco. Really good win. Bengals kind of in their stride a little bit. Beginning of the year, we were like, what's wrong with them? But now they're really starting to play well.
They've done that before.
Yeah. So thoughts going into Bengals Bills?
If you just talk about these past couple weeks, the Bengals look like the better team, but I don't think you can count the Bills out either. I think that they're both coached very well. They both have a lot of talent. So I don't think that I'm going to take a money line in this game. I'm thinking about props here. Allen has 8 picks again, man. He's throwing a lot of picks already. Should we do? I love my anytime touchdowns. I just can't get away from them.
They're addictive.
How about a Diggs anytime touchdown?
Sounds good.
I'm going to take a Diggs touchdown official play here.
Yeah.
What about you?
In this game, I'm going to listen. On this show, we've done a lot of picks, and the ones that I can remember are the only ones that we've won on. So we go back to them. Dalton Kincaid over 37.5 receiving yards. I'm going to go with that. I'm also
that was a great bet last week.
Yeah, you talked about Allen and his interception woes this year. I think he tries to be too cute sometimes. He makes some errant throws that shouldn't be thrown. I've seen it too many times this year. I think he's throwing a pick again. Give me over half an interception for Josh Allen. This is a big game. It's Sunday night. This is where the coin needs to come back and into the pocket going into the next week. So give me another play in this game. I'm going to go with an anytime touchdown because I have to. I can't bet a Sunday night football game without an anytime touchdown. Give me Give me Jamar Chase because I want to do the gritty as I'm watching this game. Jamar Chase, anytime touchdown.
I had him last week and it hit. So he's one of my fantasy guys. Can never count him out either. He is elite.
10 catches last week. He's really starting to get going. Good form with Burrow. Give me that as an anytime touchdown prop. So 3 plays in this game. Taking Kincaid. I'm taking Chase. And I'm also taking the Bills' Josh Allen to throw an interception.
I love all of them. I mean, Josh Allen, I think he's got to figure it out. He threw a lot of picks last year too, if I'm not mistaken. really towards the end of the season. Yeah, I like your plays. No
Okay.
complaints from me.
I heard I just got a confirmation. I heard Sophie wants to make a play in this game. Is that correct?
I just let her inside because she
Oh,
was getting fed up, I think,
yeah.
of all of our plays. But you know what? Let me see. Maybe I'll make a play on her behalf.
Okay.
If we're gonna do something here, what is Burrow's touchdown throws? Probably like two.
1.5.
I like that a lot. That'll be a combined Ethan and Sophie pick. We're
Okay.
gonna do an over 1.5 touchdown throws.
I like it. So this is a big bet game for both of
Oh
us
yeah,
here. Sunday night football. Two really good teams. At least we think they are. Well, let's make some money. Let's get the coin back or expand on the coin if we have a good week.
expand.
And with that, we go into our last game that we'll touch on here. It's Monday, and Monday's going to be a jam-packed day. Make sure to go check out our basketball show when we do it on Monday. But
Yeah,
we also have Monday Night Football, of course, Chargers and Jets. Chargers looked the part at least last week against a really bad Bears team. They
yeah.
always seem to play in prime time. I don't understand why. The Jets also do as well. 3.5 point favorites for the Chargers. Chargers Jets. Any thoughts in this game?
I'll take Chargers money line here. Seems like a pretty safe play. But I know this is your team, so I'll let you have the floor. I think that's the only play that I'll probably make. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, Chargers looked pretty good last week. I don't know how much stock I can put into it against the Bears. Their Division II quarterback, Hadgent or whatever his name is.
Kind of imagine or whatever. Yeah.
But for the first time in a
Arm
long
wrestling
time,
champ father.
what were you gonna say?
I said arm wrestling champ father.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but for the first time in a long time that I can remember, watching a Chargers game, they did what they were supposed to do, and that was kill the Bears. So,
Yeah.
the offense I think is fine. They need to run the ball better if they want to be successful because they're
Mhm.
too predictable in offensive schemes. Their defense was good for the most part. I don't have really too much complaints. I do think they need to put a lot of blitz packages on Mr. Wilson. He really has struggled this year at controlling the football, especially under pressure. And he's not I don't think he's a quarterback that can improvise when he's under pressure. So I would like to see the Chargers get after him a lot this week. I think they win this game.
Are you going
But
to take like a potential taking an over sacks?
yeah, I was thinking about that. Let's see, defensive stats. Yeah, yeah. Now that you're saying that, give it to me. I'm gonna do Joey Bosa over 0.25 sacks.
Weird.
He,
Oh,
he's
because of the
been,
half a sack. I get it.
yeah, he's been
That's
playing really good. He was really good against the Bears too last week. He's I just love him as a player. His aggressiveness, his
yeah.
determination, every
Yeah.
single play. He never takes a play off, which I love.
He's the older of the Bosa brothers, but I feel like he's overshadowed, which makes no sense
Yeah.
because he's like Nick Bosa is probably better, but Joey is just as good. He's fantastic.
Yeah, so that's gonna be a prop. I'm also going to do let's see here. Because I feel like every week he's going to score. I don't think they have it, but I'm just gonna say it. We'll do a Eckler anytime touchdown. He is
Yeah,
almost
last week.
I mean, either throwing or receiving, or excuse me, running or receiving, he gets
Yeah.
into the end zone. Loves him on dump off passes if the play is not there in the middle of the field for his top targets. I think Eckler's going to get in the end zone, no problem.
Yeah, that's a great bet. That's a great bet. Anything else?
That's it for me.
I really like our plays this week. I feel like it was like bang, bang, bang efficiency. I feel like we have a lot of good plays on the table. I think it's going to be a way better football week than last week, even though, UT is probably not probably, we are expecting UT to lose probably. But other than that, like as far as NFL goes, I'm excited. There are a lot of really good games this week. So
I think this is a great week. the combination of college and NFL. When we've done this is now our sixth show, which I can't believe it's awesome. I feel like it's been hit or miss with both sports.
Feel like
It,
it's either we're on it for college or on it in NFL.
yeah.
You know what I
So I
mean?
think this is the first week I can remember where at least slate wise, college and NFL is very good, and
Yeah.
I thought our picks were efficient, as you talked about. They were quick,
Yeah.
and we were confident in them. So hopefully, we can make some coin for you at home. Biggest thing that we need though is to hit that like and subscribe button. Follow
Always.
our social medias. That's in the
Mhm.
description on
Mhm.
Instagram and TikTok. Ethan does a great job with that, and I think he just posted some of our winners from last week's show. And then
That is true.
we got another show for you folks on Monday. We'll have to figure out the time and all of that, but college basketball and NBA. NBA is already getting going, but now we have college basketball, so tons of games, tons of things to talk about in
Mhm.
that regard. So we have you Monday and Thursday every single week. We got you covered. Sports betting picks, wine locks, Glicks picks. Ethan,
We're ramping it up.
final thoughts. Yeah, we are ramping up. Final thoughts. I know you have a great weekend planned, a lot of fun. I'm jealous. Hopefully, you have a great time in Texas. Maybe, hopefully, wins the game as well.
Fingers crossed. I will always, it's tough because we're realists here. You know what I mean? So I
Mhm.
really don't know what's going to happen. We're going to be watching. We're going to be sweating. Backs against the wall if you're a Texas fan, because that's just, it doesn't feel like we should be number 7, but we are. And I think we had some good picks this week, and I'm looking forward to seeing what happens.
Yeah. And before we go, as we always do, remind the folks Thursday tonight, what are our official plays in tonight's game so we can sweat and hopefully
Yep.
pass winners?
So we have 2, which I like both. We have your Deontay Johnson over 58.5 receiving yards and a touchdown. So you're really riding high with him this week, which I like. He hit his over last week.
Yeah.
And then for me, which I think it's a little more risky because he could come crashing back to earth, but I like it a lot. Is a Hopkins anytime touchdown.
Like,
We'll have to see how Levis does. I'm excited for it, because I think that he's either going to do really good or not that good. So I think that this game will be really telling for how the rest of the season goes for the Titans, because they're eventually going to have to figure out Malik Willis, Tannehill, and Levis all on the same team. It's kind of like the 49ers when they had Purdy and
yeah.
Garoppolo and
Lance.
Lance. Like, yeah, it's could shape. I mean, obviously, I think the talent disparity is a little different there, but it's turning into that. So we'll see what happens.
We will see and can't wait to talk about it and summarize next week. Make sure to go check out all our social medias, link in the description, and get ready for Monday for our new basketball show. For Ethan Weingart, for Adam Glick, thanks so much for watching. Enjoy the sweats, and hopefully next week we'll be back with
We
some
will
more
be.
coin.
Yes,
Have a
sir.
good one, everyone.